Hello, my name is Brigite Da Gama. I'm from South Africa. I work for McDonald's South Africa. I'm pleased to share with you the South Africa McDonald's culture transformation journey. So what happened is that the global brand McDonald's, a few years ago, the brand wasn't doing so well, particularly in places like North America. The brand was looking tired. The share price on the New York Stock Exchange was not doing so well. Our customers were not feeling that we were giving an excellent service. So what the board of directors did is they brought in a new CEO, Steve Easterbrook. And Steve's role was basically to transform the brand. So we embarked on a process where we introduced a new organizational strategy and started rolling that out across the globe. We are in over 120 countries, so you can just imagine the sort of like process of rolling out a new strategy across 120 countries. But he's been working with his executive team at modernizing the brand. So obviously, you know, rolling out a new organizational strategy is one thing, but you need to have the appropriate organizational culture that will support your new organizational strategy. So globally, we've been working since 2016 at rolling out a new organizational culture, and that's what I would like to talk to you about today. So my talk will cover the McDonald's culture transformation journey, the use of and integration of technology, and then the impact of the transformation journey. I'd like to start with a little bit of theory, if you can just indulge me for a minute. So we did a bit of research on the impact of culture in the literature, and what we found was that organizational culture is a shared set of beliefs and values reinforced by an organization's symbols and structure and manifested in the way people think and act. Regardless of the research strategy used, evidence points to the fact that culture does matter. Employee commitment and retention is related to perceived organizational values. Commitment was greater amongst employees who thought that the organization considered relationship-oriented. In other words, an organization where you would find things like courtesy, consideration, cooperation, fairness, forgiveness, and moral integrity. And change-oriented, so an organization where you would find development, initiative, creativity, and openness. These values are extremely important. If there are cultural values that are universally linked to commitment and retention, they appear to be values that contribute to fair and humane treatment of people. It is precisely the fact that relatively few organizations actually espouse these values that gives competitive advantage to those organizations that do. So this is what the literature is telling us about organizational culture. My presentation is not very theoretical. In fact, I'm actually going to be speaking about our actual culture transformation journey. So it's a practical example of how you could possibly change an organizational culture in a practical sense. So the McDonald's culture transformation journey for South Africa started in 2017. And what we found is that culture offers scale and impact across thousands of employees. In our case, we found that to be particularly true. For us, we understand that we're part of a big global brand. We're very proud to be part of the McDonald's global brand. But we also are located within the African continent. And our context, our heritage, our identity as Africans is very important to us. So what we wanted to do was take these three culture pillars that were being rolled out at a global level and customize them for our environment so that we could relate to it and our people could relate to the new organizational culture. So as part of the global launch of the McDonald's Culture Evolution, our challenge is to share the new culture campaign with McDonald's South Africa in a uniquely South African way. So we decided to create a sense of unity, to create the concept of a club, a reason to be part of the movement. And really we understood that regardless of what makes us different, McDonald's South Africa unites us. We introduced a new culture logo. So we've got this culture logo. In fact, what we did with the whole culture campaign is we actually branded the entire campaign. And this logo, now everybody can look at it and identify it as part of our culture conversation and discourse going on in our organization. It started with a global culture evolution launched at our global head office. We then took it and localized it for the South African context. And part of that localization for the South African context was that we actually localized the language. So you'll see a bit later, because I've got a few videos to share with you, that the language we use when we speak about culture has got a little bit of a localized feel in it. We've added a little bit of local slang in it to make it fun for our employees, but also so that our people could relate to the conversation around culture. So we started having a generic conversation in South Africa. We started by speaking about our cultural heritage and identity as South Africans. So we started at that level, and then we brought it down to organizational culture and what that would look like. In May of 2017, we had a fantastic workshop, and there's a video which will come up very soon that I'll share with you that sort of like summarizes what happened in that workshop. But we had a workshop where we had all parts of the business represented. Effectively, we had about 250 people in the workshop. We had employees from the corporate office, we had employees from the restaurants, we had some of our franchise owners there, we had our executive leadership team there, and we started having a conversation about culture, what the 3 culture pillars look like, and in essence we started having a conversation about what we would like this culture activation and conversation to look like in the South African context. We then started understanding that if you're going to change culture, and remember we've got about 260 restaurants in every single province in South Africa, all 9 provinces located across the country, you've got to start, and in each of our restaurants, the leader in that restaurant is the restaurant manager. They are the ones that are seen as the leader of that particular restaurant. In each of the 260 restaurants that we have. So what we wanted to do was align the leader in the restaurant first. So we had a series of restaurant management workshops just around organizational culture. We took what came out of our alignment workshop, or the initial workshop we had in May, and we exposed the restaurant managers to this and started having a discourse with them in terms of like what culture would look like in each of our restaurants. These sort of workshops were fun, they were high energy, because fun is an important part of our brand as McDonald's. High energy because we wanted to create a memorable experience for people, and the buy-in and the level of participation was absolutely amazing. It was fantastic. We had 5 of these workshops, and every single restaurant manager across the country attended one of the 5 workshops. We then went into the restaurant level and selected 5 culture champions in each restaurant. And then we had a series of about almost 30 workshops across the country where we trained up the culture champions in terms of what their roles entails. The culture champions, having champions at a restaurant level around introducing the new organizational culture, was a fantastic move, because what it did is it created it created the sort of concept around having a team of people out there on the ground in the restaurants, actually keeping the discourse and conversation around culture alive. And that worked phenomenally well. The culture champions have really been the bedrock almost of our culture activation activities. And then we introduced some fun concepts around the new organizational culture. So one of the concepts is Culture Fridays, and it's actually the champions in each of the restaurants that run the Culture Fridays concepts. And Culture Fridays really is where you just, this one day in the restaurant, you have a theme that is around culture. So it could be a theme around one of our culture pillars, maybe being customer obsessed. It's just created a different and vibrant environment in our restaurants, because it's created something that's fun, that people look forward to. Even our customers tell us, when they walk into the restaurant on a Culture Friday, they feel the vibe in the restaurant, the energy levels and the excitement of the crew. And then we took our business partners, our human capital business partners, and we asked them to go into each of the restaurants to once again speak to the crew members around the new organizational culture. So very much in 2017, we were doing a lot of discourse around culture, talking about it, interpreting it, getting to understand it, getting the staff to understanding, making them feel part of the journey, that they're a key component of the new culture activation. And you know, now sometimes when I go into a restaurant, it's so gratifying. So we've got a restaurant manager who's very successful, and he runs a restaurant for us in Polokwane, a very successful restaurant. And he says to me, you know, I went into his restaurant on a store visit. He says to me, you know, Brigite, when we started this discourse around organizational culture, initially I was skeptical. But when I saw the impact on the people, the energy levels, the engagement levels, it's been absolutely phenomenal. So even where there were skeptics in the system, through our discourse and through making it fun and getting people to participate, we actually managed to turn those skeptics around. So that was 2017. It was a wonderful year. So this is just a video showing what happened in that particular workshop.
This is about a diverse culture of men and women, older and younger, black and white. It doesn't matter. We are diverse in our thinking, but we are the same in our values. Our purpose now goes beyond just selling hamburgers. Our purpose now is we need to use our reach to be a positive force in this world, a positive force in our communities, and a positive force with our customers. It's not just about selling hamburgers anymore.
In McDonald's, we are undergoing a global culture evolution, and all countries are aligning, and now it's our turn as South Africa to align. The global organization has come up with 3 cultural pillars.
Customer obsessed, better together, committed to lead.
It's about going from an organization where we serve burgers to going to an organization where it's about feel-good moments in our restaurants. You want to create experiences for people. You want them to feel like McDonald's is the place where you go to celebrate successes.
Customers will forget how and what you said to them, but they will never forget how you made them feel.
And we will delight our customer by being customer obsessed.
As far as being better together is concerned, it's about ensuring that our employees are empowered. Because every single one of the 11,000 employees that work for us brings something to the table. And if we empower all of them, can you imagine how powerful we'll be?
We must lead from the front. Great leaders don't tell you what to do, but they show you how to do it.
And leadership shapes the way we play the game.
We're going to be bold, we're going to be focused, and we're going to be passionate. We want to launch this in a way that is uniquely South African, because that's who we are. So how do we go about doing that? So we came up with the idea of a club, a sense of unity, a reason to be proud of the movement. So regardless of what makes us different, McDonald's unites us. And that's where the concept of the Culture Club came from. And as you can see, everyone is welcome. All 11,000 of our employees will be part of this club.
What is culture? It's a way of life.
It's the way we do things.
Something that's ingrained in you. What do you bring to the McDonald's culture?
Culture can sit on these spreadsheets, they can sit on these scoreboards, but ultimately, culture sits in our heart as leaders of this organization.
This image came out of our alignment workshop, which we had in May at the beginning of the culture activation process. And it's basically just this image is a visual summary of what happened in the room on that day. It contains our 3 culture pillars, so committed to lead, better together, customer obsessed, and also some of the inputs that people were making at that particular workshop of 250 people. You can see on the bottom the tagline that we use for our culture campaign. It's in our blood, ne? So ne is a very South African way. It's a South African term, and it equates to the term like, you know, when people say okay at the end of a sentence in the USA. This particular slide just shows all the workshops, the culture workshops that we had across the country for the culture champions, just having a workshop in all the provinces. Again, all our workshops are designed to be high energy. They're meant to be a lot of fun, and obviously they're designed to ensure that a lot of learning takes place in them. So now coming to the question of carrying on the conversation around culture and embedding the new organizational culture further. So in 2018, in view of the fact that we're now basically operating in an almost futuristic world, where there's a lot of robotics coming into our environments, there's a lot of digitization coming into our environments, we also decided to digitize the whole conversation around culture. So, and also you have to factor in the fact that we've got, the average age in our restaurant is about 24. So there are young people working in our restaurants, and obviously, you know, they relate a lot better to the whole concept of engaging in a digitized way. So for our plan for 2018, what we decided to do was to get everybody involved yet again. So the reach was very, very important. That everybody needed to be involved in the journey in a way that was bold, focused, and passionate. We introduced a new concept. So we had our 3 culture pillars, which I've mentioned before. So better together, committed to lead, and customer obsessed. And now we introduced the concept of a winning culture. And what we wanted to do was sort of like create a winning mindset amongst our restaurant managers, because the restaurant manager is the leader in the restaurant. So if you can get that individual to think in a way where they understand the whole concept of winning and they've got the tools to help them win, we think that's great for the individual as a restaurant manager, but also for the business. And then let me show you the slide. This one slide shows our culture journey for 2018, and it's all on one slide, and it's got different components. So you can see there are blue triangles. Those blue triangles are videos that we have produced. We've got 8 of those. You can see on the left-hand side that we were planning to have 7 winning culture sessions, which we've held very successfully, again across the country for the restaurant managers as well as their managers. And then the one thing that we did that is very digital, embracing the whole digital sort of environment we're all living in now in the modern era, is that we decided to build a culture app, an application that runs off a mobile phone where we could have conversations around culture. So how the app works, it's already been built, it's already active. So far we've signed up 6,000 people, and we're planning to sign up a few thousand more. How the app works is that it's like an app that you can use as a recognition tool. So every single staff member in McDonald's is allocated a certain number of points. These points, you cannot reward yourself with them, but you are allowed to reward your peers with them. And you would reward your peers if you see them living up to the different culture pillars. So if you see a peer of yours in a restaurant, a fellow crew member, being particularly customer obsessed and giving a great service to a customer, you can actually reward them with points. The points are convertible to cash, and that's the reward for somebody who is absolutely amazing at living the new culture values. Managers can also reward their staff, so it's a recognition program that can reward their staff. But the absolutely major prize that people could win through the app is that we are planning a fantastic concert with the best musical acts in South Africa in November, on the 10th of November to be precise. And we are also planning a rally on that day. So the rally will consist of about 12,000 employees, 3,000 of them coming to a central point. We will have a fantastic, massive sort of workshop for them, high energy, with a massive stage. So, and then they will stay in the same venue, and that evening in the venue, we will have a fantastic concert where they can see the best musical acts in South Africa. So we're quite excited about that. We've got the staff very excited about that. the opportunity to come to a fantastic concert and mingle with 3,000 of their peers and just enjoy a fantastic concert. The other piece of work that we are busy producing at the moment is that we have introduced a virtual choir. And we identified a piece of music, very South African in context, and we got a school for the performing arts to actually just polish it up for us. So again, it's supporting the arts in South Africa. And then what we're going to do is get all the crew members from the different restaurants to contribute their version of the song. And then we'll take all these different versions and create one sort of piece of music. And this we're calling the virtual choir. So that is our program for 2018. It's very exciting. It's going very, very well at the moment. And we are enjoying ourselves immensely. This slide just shows you the look and feel of our app, so you can have a look at what it looks like on the phone. It's very easy to use. One of the principles, when we designed the app, one of the principles we wanted to use was that it must be simple to use. We didn't want a complicated thing that people would struggle to use. So we wanted something that was very simple to use, and something that you didn't need like a course on how to use the app. It must be intuitive. A bit like Facebook. You don't need a lesson on how to use Facebook because it's so easy to use. So we use the same principle. And if you look at the look and feel on this particular slide, you can also see that given the nature of our people in our organization, we wanted the app to be vibrant. We've got a very vibrant staffing community here in McDonald's South Africa. So the app needed to appeal to them. So now you may ask the question, you may say to me, Brigite, you're doing all these things. What is the impact? What have you achieved by doing all these things? So let's talk a little bit about the impact. So as McDonald's globally and also McDonald's South Africa, we survey our employees at least once a year, but in South Africa we do it twice a year, so we do it every 6 months. And this is what the results looks like. On this particular slide, you can see the results for the last 2 years. You can see on the left that the crew engagement level out of 100 started at 74. 2 years ago, it was 74%. It's now sitting at 83%. So you can see the improvement there in the engagement levels of our crew members. And then if you look at our managers on the right side of the slide, 2 years ago it started at 84%, and now it's sitting at 92%. So we're very pleased with this absolute upward trajectory with regard to the survey results. It tells us that what we're doing with regard to engagement levels and the manner in which we're rolling out the culture conversation in South Africa is absolutely working for us. Also, we were very proud to receive an award. It's called an Outstanding Achievement Award in the MEA, Middle East and Africa region of the McDonald's global family. And it was given to McDonald's South Africa for transforming our organizational culture. And this is just a picture of what the award looks like. When we received the award, I have to tell you, the whole of McDonald's South Africa celebrated because we were all so involved in this culture transformation journey. I'd like to end off by just sharing a video with you that just summarizes, we call it the culture video, and it just summarizes the whole conversation around the culture transformation journey.
We are diverse in our thinking, but we are the same.
We are diverse in our thinking, but we are the same in our values.
It's in our culture. It's in our culture. Proudly and uniquely South African. It's in our culture. Customer obsessed.
We are obsessed. We are obsessed.
It's all about the customer experience.
Customer obsessed.
We are obsessed. Obsessed.
It's all about the customer experience.
It's the way we do things.
Feel good moments in our restaurants.
How we do things.
It's the way we do things.
Feel good moments. Get it together. Get it together. McDonald's United. committed, passionate, committed to lead.
Lead from the front.
Focused, committed, passionate, committed to lead.
Lead from the front. Lead from the front.
First to market. First to market.
Lead from the front.
Customer obsessed. Get it together.
Lead from the front.
Customer obsessed. Get it together.
Lead from the front.
Customer obsessed, better together, committed to lead.
Customer obsessed, better together, committed to lead.
It's in our blood, babe. Thank you so much for listening to me. I've really enjoyed the opportunity and appreciated the opportunity to be able to share our story with you. Thank you very much.